Recently, at a festival in Las Vegas, Nevada, a Nazi seen here wearing the 2 lightning bolts was booted out of said festival in Las Vegas, Nevada. And what this shows is a few things. The first is, how did he get in with this shirt? I understand that security's making probably minimum wage, if not a little above. And maybe they did not see it. Or maybe they thought it was part of a band. But why, oh why, would this man be allowed to wear this shirt into a music festival? Because what it does is enable this sort of behavior. The crowd would turn on him. They would go after him. And this also embodies what punk rock has been about. There have been many sayings about Nazis. There have been many ways of framing this entire discussion. But to see a cohesive, collective unit who is there for the arts go up against this guy and tell them, because of how he feels about the world, that he is not welcome here, quite honestly, warms my heart. I have seen signs in my city of Chicago that has said, "Make Nazis afraid again." And this is exactly what we should be doing. We should be making them afraid again. He would be escorted out with 2 lightning bolts on his back and go into the night in Nevada to another place. It reminds me of this.
That they are born of magic and fire, and so are all of we. You don't do that shit here.
When a Canadian punk band saw a member in the audience give a Nazi salute, and that's what occurred, then there was this.
Country and go welcome with open arms so they can build a better life, then listen to us. If you were part of a union or working class people who were allowed to build a better life in the middle class in America, you listen to us. Because if you're out there buying those hats that these swindlers are selling at that fair, I'm sorry kids, I know there's kids here, then you're part of the problem, and I'll tell you why. Because you're being duped by the greatest swindler in the history of the world. You're being duped by a bunch of grifters and billionaires who don't give a about you or your family. They care about their tax breaks and the money they can put in their pocket. If you consider yourself a patriot and you're spouting off that election denying, I will fight you outside if you want to. Wake the up! We're working class people. These people are the rich, the billionaires, and they don't give a. Thank you for listening. 26 years as a band. If you call yourself a fan, you can give us 2 minutes.
The Dropkick Murphys taking care of business. Plus, a fan at their Terminal 5 show around 2013 would go on stage. And that one a-hole appears to throw up a Nazi salute. Thus, the bass player for the Murphys would also take matters into his own hands. And you know what? Who can blame him? There are many symbols within the punk rock scene that will never be allowed or allotted when it comes to their movement. And let me also be clear about something. The Dropkick Murphys, I'm going to finally see in person, it appears, when they come to Chicago at Riot Fest. So look, if you're out there, say what up. I will be there. I think it's going to be a fantastic show. We've also seen how the Dropkick Murphys have utilized their platform for good. And what really I was taken aback about was how many people really thought that they would be part of like a MAGA movement and a MAGA agenda, which just goes to show that people have lost the plot when it comes to punk rock. Punk rock is not built on creating a safe space for skinheads and Nazis. It is about fighting them, either with their words or their fists. I saw one Redditor say that he or she, they have never felt more safe than at a punk rock show, because what we have seen is the music transcends time while also advocating for anti-fascist movements. The fact that there are so many bands out there that have taken a hardcore stance against this goes to show that it is aging through its history in the arts. How they are continually putting out music and also fighting against those that want to see them gone and want to see the fascistic tendencies of man rise once more. I am proud to see this. And again, I do not advocate for violence, but I will say this: make them uncomfortable. Sort of like the crowd in Philadelphia a few years ago, maybe 2 years ago, that saw Patriot Front get into U-Hauls. I know that it went viral once again a few days ago, but a few years ago when they were in Philly, that's community. That's fighting against the darkest forces within society. And I'm here for it, and I love it. I love that this guy felt uncomfortable. You know why? Because me seeing that shirt makes me deeply uncomfortable. The same shirt that Hulk Hogan, at one of his Great American Beer meet and greets, took a picture with. A man wearing that shirt. Another wrestler named The Undertaker wore that shirt many years ago. That makes me uncomfortable. You know what doesn't? Confronting fascism. Confronting those through Christian nationalism believe that I should be eradicated. That believe that anyone who is not a white Christian male who follows their version of the Bible should be eradicated from society. So if they're showing up to punk rock shows, number one, they have no idea what they're listening to. It's sort of like, check it out on Demand a few years ago. A person actually tweeted, "I thought Rage Against the Machine spoke to me," and summarizing. And I didn't know that they were, I didn't like when they got so political. And then Tom Morello replies back, well, and you can guess what he stated in a tweet, basically calling the person illogical for not listening to any of the lyrics. And the second is, make these spaces uncomfortable for these people, because they feel comfortable enough waving these fighting, I can't even say fighting words. Words could be on the shirt, but they are fighting shirts. That is calling for the worst of man to rise. So yeah, I'm with it. I'm with it. I'm all for it. I appreciate it. I love it. Kudos to you.
Not a great time to be an American in Canada right now. Sorry about that. I feel like us, the Canadians, Americans as a people, we're kind of like the neighborhood kids, right? And for a long time, our families, they were neighbors, they got on pretty good. And then recently, my family, we got a new stepdad. And he's been mixing up things a little bit. First day at the office, first day moving into the house, he saw your mom and he called her greedy and poor. And I want to be clear. To be honest, I don't even call him dad, When my mom started dating again, she's like, "What do you think?" I was like, "Honestly, Mom, I think you should be with a woman this time."
That is spot on. That is spot on. One thing that gets me is in the beginning, and I'm trying to find it here. In the first, maybe at like the 10 or 12 second mark, a Canadian yells out, "It's not your fault." like they, God, they're too good. They're too good of people. I'll give you my 2 cents. The national anthem getting booed when an American hockey team visits Toronto, Vancouver, Montreal, Ottawa, like Calgary. Who cares? I don't care. And I'll tell you why I don't care. Hey guys, quick break in the action. I have a new show coming out called The Rick Strom Show. It is going to be awesome. I'm interviewing musicians, athletes, producers, writers, journalists, authors, sports doctors. Go check it out at youtube.com/@TheRickStrom Show. Also be sure to throw me a follow on Instagram, Threads, Blue Sky. It can all be found in the description box below. Thank you. Number 1. We have made our own bed, all right? Did I support this guy? No, I didn't. But we have made our own bed, okay? You expect people to just kiss the feet of the colonizers? Like this reaction from conservative America, they're not the sharpest tools in the shed. But getting mad at the national anthem is so profoundly stupid. Because this is the same crowd that says that they don't want politics in sports, but really want the national anthem played before every game. It's such a weird tradition that largely gained traction after 9/11 when the NFL started doing it. This wasn't even a thing that had to be done. It's just the NFL going knees deep and preying on this specific American who can't see the truth if it was right in front of them. So personally, abolish the national anthem. But since it's played, boo it. I don't care. As Vince Staples once famously said, it doesn't even slap. Which it doesn't. Every time you watch the World Cup or the Olympics and you hear other anthems, you're like, damn, that's hard. Then you hear ours, the bombs bursting in air. Like, oh. It's cringe, bro. It's cringe. My other take is this. I did a piece on the World Cup and how there was this unity, per se, in 2018 when Canada, the United States, and Mexico put in the joint bid where the United States will have 11 cities hosting the World Cup, Mexico will have 3, and Canada will have 2. I feel as though all of the hatred that we are getting is warranted. I feel bad for my Canadian friends. I feel bad for my Mexican friends. I feel bad because although I cannot speak for the people who support this, sadly, they are my countrymen. And I think what upsets me the most is that we are long-standing partners and allies and friends, and suddenly a doofus comes in and really wants to put y'all in your place. And I am appreciative that y'all are not backing down from the north to the south. I appreciate it. And yet, I'm starting to feel like this guy. Not even starting, I have been. But I resonate with this. Because this man is in Canada as an American. Can you imagine the amount of you-know-what that this guy gets? Whether jokingly or not, you know he's on the receiving end. They're sunning him. They're little brothering him. They're little broing him. I mean this as an American who is anxious a lot of the time and seeping in political depression. I just am sorry, because it should not be this way. We should not be suffering simultaneously at the behest, at least this modern version, of our president. So this comedian's name, by the way, is Bo Johnson Comedy. I want you all to go support him. This says he is on TikTok. Go to his TikTok, throw him a follow, and take it easy on our neighbors. Because if we have learned anything over time, it is that you need good neighbors in community. You do not want to have vitriol and hatred for your neighbors. Or as some MAGA loyalists will cite, you should love thy neighbor.
This is the most divided the country's ever been. Because I was driving down a street, 3 different houses, first front yard, Harris sign, second front yard, Trump sign, third front yard, inflatable minion dressed up like a pumpkin. And I don't want to get too political, but I feel like it should be easier for some of these third-party candidates to get on the ballot. So I'm trying to vote for Kevin, and in case you don't follow current events, Kevin is the name of the minion.
He's not impressed me as a performer. As someone who's in the entertainment business, I see him as a manipulator. I think he's done a masterful job of taking how we market a president, which is, I guess, I mean, you guys know about how long that's been going on, but it just seems to be, especially with cable news now and with social media even more so, as someone said, it's a Kardashian world.
And as we know, much like the Kardashians, the damage that billionaires have done is well-founded.
How do you feel about Trump supporters?
I think I agree with the fact that they were betrayed. They were betrayed by the Republican Party. That, you know, maybe it goes back further, but Karl Rove and company, you know, grabbed them and promised them things, and it didn't happen, and they're disaffected. But it's also, it's so, I mean, look at anything that Trump's done. It plays into hatred. It plays into what's the worst possible thing we can create, and then fan that flame. And that's why you've got racism and bigotry and make America, the hat should say make America white again. That's what it should say. That's what it should say. And he knows that. He's playing to that.
Indeed he is. And look no further than the most recent example we have.
Mr. Trump sprung a video on an unsuspecting Cyril Ramaphosa designed to back Mr. Trump's unsubstantiated claims that there's a genocide underway in South Africa targeting white farmers.
In recent days, the president has welcomed white refugees from South Africa to the United States, just weeks after signing an executive order suspending America's refugee admission program.
President Trump has ground all U.S. refugee admissions to a halt except for one group, the white Afrikaner ethnic minority that once led South Africa's brutal apartheid regime. The first group of South African refugees in America claim they've been victims of violence and discrimination. Claims of a white genocide are often circulated by right-wing groups but are simply not true, said Afrikaner academic Pete Kirkham.
There's no sign of it, never has been. In fact, whites are economically the strongest group. This is the land of milk and honey if you're white.
The day news clip that you saw was from 2016. Post-election, here he is.
November 5th I told a couple people, I said, we're gonna find out who we are. What I'm concerned with now is more like, I hope this is who we are now. And in 2 years, we'll see. Will it still be who we are, or will it be worse? Are we living through a time in American history where 50 years from now they'll look back as the end of democracy happened now? I hope not. But I don't trust people with absolute power. And I think they have it. And we'll see. I mean, if it truly is about the voters, if there will be people who find out that the price of eggs is going to go up and that tariffs are going to hurt them, and when it starts to affect them personally, financially, maybe that'll change the minds of some people who thought it was okay to try him again.
Well, here's the problem with that. After his first 100 days, a PBS NPR Marist poll found 45% of US adults gave the president an F. That included 80% of Dems, 49% of independents. On the opposite end of the spectrum, 23% of Americans, including 54% of Republicans, would give Donald Trump an A. How? How does anyone, if they are paying attention to what is happening day in, day out, give this man an A? Well, I'll tell you. Well, it's white evangelicals. They make up a large support system the president retains in his first 100 plus days. The Pew found 57% of white evangelicals approve of the job he's done. Furthermore, 69% rate the ethics of top Trump administration officials as excellent or good.
I think we've lost character and integrity and decency and respect for the rule of law. I think that's flown out the window. And I don't think social media is going to help us fix that. I think we live in the era of outrage. You know, this may be absolute chaos and the incompetency not only of Trump himself, but of all the people he seems to be parading. You know, is there a relationship with Putin that we haven't had before? I mean, having just done the Reagan-Gorbachev thing, it's night and day. The US, Russia, even as tough as it was in '86, I don't know where we're going, you know, and I fear that Trump doesn't either, and that he's going to get played.
I think what's most frustrating as a member of the media who tries to bring the news, also has to read up on everything and dig on everything and make sure, crossing our T's, we're dotting our I's, is the level of deception that people eat up. The amount of people who have been duped or willfully duped, intentionally duped. The amount of people who do not care about their fellow man yet claim to be pro-life. The amount of people who claim to be pro-life and yet are in favor of cuts to Medicare and Medicaid. The amount of people who love thy neighbor yet want to kick their neighbor out of the country, want to send them to a foreign gulag. It's not only troubling, beyond disappointing from people, and I know this is relatable, that we know, that we love, who continue to peddle in this sort of crap and are tanking us, bringing us down because they fell for a con man. Hey, I appreciate you watching. Now, if you can, please do become a channel member by going to youtube.com/TYTsports and clicking the join button. If that's too much for you, you can just go to tyt.com/join to become a member. It helps all of us out here at the Young Turks and keeps our network afloat. In addition, you could follow me on my socials on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. Appreciate the love. Have a great day. Calling out elite people in comedy should be the rule of thumb.
I think Donald Trump's hair is actually another creature.
Yeah.
The hair's like going, good night, Donald. Good night, Donald. Here we go.
Maybe it goes out. It goes out and makes money while he's asleep.
There is something about punching down that feels taboo, and punching up is the way to go.
Crack's not really my thing, but if it was, it would be fine if I was on that side.
Wow.
Don Jr.'s on coke.
We won with poorly educated. I love the poorly educated. I'm a very stable genius.
It is very important, the work that the Jordan Kleppers are doing, the work that the Good Liars are doing, the work that our team here at the Turks are doing, and many more.
Used to see these tackles, now they tackle. Oh, head-on-head collision. Bing, flag, footballs become soft.
You have Trump doing sound effects for tackles. The choice could not be more clear. Like, let's not beat around the bush about it.